Hey guys, Double Wide 6 here, and yesterday my father dropped off this air compressor. It's a little Craftsman 1.5 horsepower, 2-gallon, just a little tiny thing, and it's not running at all. So I have it plugged in. I got it partially apart, but the piston appears to be seized up. Either that or the motor's seized up. I don't know, but I'll quick turn it on. You hear that hum? So the motor isn't turning at all. So I've already removed the top cover and one of the valve plates, and you can see that right here. And I had to take off the air tube after the air is compressed that goes into the tank so I could remove the top. And I look in here and you can't see it, but I can see the top of the piston and I can see the cylinder wall, and the cylinder looks to be in excellent shape. So my dad got this from his friend that was moving. He was moving from Pennsylvania to Florida, and he was just getting rid of some stuff, so he gave this to my father. And the guy that gave it to him didn't, he didn't say anything was wrong with it. So I just have a feeling that it's been sitting for a while. But I already took a real thin screwdriver and I've tried to push the piston down, but the problem is the pistons are all the way down at the bottom, so it doesn't seem to be moving. So I think I'm gonna remove this cylinder and expose the piston and see if we can't either free up the piston or free up the motor. So before I actually move the cylinder, if I look back in here, all the way back in here, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a fan back here, and that fan is a cooling fan, and that must be attached to the motor, which is attached to the piston. So I'm thinking if I turn that fan, I might not have to take off the cylinder. Now, this plastic piece I've loosened up, but I can't pull this plastic off because the pressure switch and the regulator are kind of in the way, and so is this copper line here. So if we look underneath, there's plastic that actually runs under here, and I'm thinking if I cut away this plastic, I should be able to pick the black plastic completely straight up. But because it wraps underneath here, I can't get that plastic up. So I don't know if I need to leave that plastic there because of the cooling fan to help it circulate or not. I don't really feel like removing all this stuff just to get that plastic off, but my second guess is I might want to leave that shroud there because it might help cool the motor. So I think I'm gonna remove all this stuff. Alright, so now we're actually in there, and I'm noticing that there's two pretty good sized capacitors up there, and if the capacitors aren't working, the electric motor won't have enough power to begin rotating. Okay, but I don't think the problem is the capacitors, because when I put a little bit of pressure on this, this is not free spinning. Okay, so right now this thing's actually seized up. So I'm just gonna try and carefully see if I can get it to rotate without breaking this fan. Man. And I did put some oil in the cylinder all the way up here. There's a little hole there where the valves are. I did put a little oil in there and leave it overnight. This thing is just not moving at all. So I might have to take the cylinder off. I don't know, I'm going to look at it. So instead of breaking this plastic fin here, I have a needle nose vice grip, and I'm trying to put that on the motor shaft to see if I can get a good grip on it. It's not really too much room to work. That thing's on there. That moved a little bit. There's like a little clutch or something. Looks like we got, you hear that? It's starting to move a little bit here. And it is still really tight. But we're freeing it up. Okay. So just gonna try and spin it around a few times. I don't know if I'm spinning it the proper way, but it should go around either way. So now it's getting a lot easier. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to plug this thing in and hit the switch and just see if that motor will turn for us. Looks like it's turning, so we'll put it back together and see if it'll compress some air. Here's a quick tip for you. A lot of times when I take apart things, I usually clean them up. And this product here, this fluid film, I use it all the time with lawnmowers. It's a protectant, and you know, it works a lot better than like WD-40 for restoring plastic. It's not going to last forever, but it lasts a lot longer than just like cleaning something off with oil or WD-40. And I use this all the time on lawnmowers that I recondition and sell, and it makes them look brand spanking new. So I'll actually put a link on this video to where you can get this stuff from Amazon. That's where I get it. And you can also spray it underneath your lawnmower deck, and it'll stop grass from sticking. And I use it a lot, so I thought I'd show you that. Alright guys, so here's the moment of truth. We're going to turn this on and see what it does. Well, it doesn't seem to be creating any pressure, so I got to see if we have a leak or maybe the tank is open. Well, I think the valve plate might be on backwards, so I got a quick flip over the valve plate. It seems to be blowing air out. This thing up here is the air filter. I feel air coming out, so I think I have the valves upside down. So I'm going to flip that over and see if that fixes our problem. So here's a look at the valve plate on this thing. And I'm looking at it, there's only one way that this thing goes on here, because there's two holes on the left side and one hole on the right, and that's the only way it can go on, is like that. But since I put so much oil on here, I put some oil on top of the piston, and I think what's happening is there's basically like a suction cup effect, and this little sheet metal valve thing right here. I think because of the oil on there, it's sticking. And what I'm going to do is clean the oil off this and try and see if that doesn't fix our problem. Well, with the second look here, I realized I had this thing on backwards. It has two holes on the right side, and then underneath it only has one hole there. And then on the left side, underneath it has two holes, and it should have one hole up top. This little symbol here, it says HT. I noticed that in the gasket, so I know it was on this way. So if I look at the gasket on the bottom of this piece, I matched it up. So turns out I had it reversed. Live and learn. Okay, we'll see if it works now. Hoping it's leaking out. Oh, I didn't attach the one hose on the back. Hang on. This airline's pretty cool. No pun intended, but it has those cooling fins on there. So, I've never seen that. I don't want to cross-thread that thing. Well, it's pumping up. We're going to let it pump up. Alright, I'm just checking the pressure to see if it's going to shut off. We're approaching about 110, maybe 115 psi. Yeah, 115. Shuts off at 115, and I'm going to let air out and see if it resets. So it seems to be working pretty good. It kicks back on around 95. Alright guys, looks like we got it all fixed up. So, I'm just going to clean it up, get it looking good. I'm thinking that this thing probably sat, if I had to guess, in like a basement. And I'm thinking that a little bit of rust, moisture kind of got into it and caused it to seize up because it hadn't been running for a while. I don't think it ran out of oil just because there was oil in it when I got it. So anyhow, I'm double wide 6, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm going to put a link to fluid film, which is actually a rust preventative, and it's also used for restoring plastic and that type of stuff. So there'll be a link to Amazon on the bottom of the video. And as always, thanks for watching, and have a great day.